Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. Oh, got too much glare. That's how bright that afternoon sun is, even though it's cloudy, overcast. It rained again. It's been raining all day. Well, off and on, all day for weeks. I heard a report on the news about the weather in Oregon and Washington State. They were saying on CBS up on the hour, they were saying on the radio, this heat wave is climate related. And I thought to myself, you know, I'm not a scientist, but I said, isn't all weather climate related? Anyway, just something to think about. Anyway, now Louisiana, definitely, I remember 50 years ago, it would be, cold in the wintertime, hot in summer, humid all the time, most of the year, except for 40 or 45 days a year, raining off and on all the time in the summer. And now here we are 50 years later, it's like cold in the wintertime, hot in the summertime, humid all year long, except for 40 or 45 days, raining a lot all summer long. So, things have really not changed. All right. Anyway, but once again, I'm not a scientist, nor do I claim to be one. Hello, Ron says B Aviation. Hello, B Aviation. Now, today, this afternoon, I was going to do it this morning and I forgot. And I was looking through my stuff and I was like, did I forget to do something today? I was like, heck, I forgot to do this for an upcoming day. Now, if that day comes and I can do it, well, it's already been done, so I just won't do it. I have no desperate need to do a whiskey taste challenge or rum or bourbon. Well, I'm sorry, bourbon, or a brandy or tequila every day. Notice I said I have no great need. I didn't say I wouldn't do it every day. The goal is to do 365 taste challenges in 365 days. Just, you can't do them every day, so you double up, Izzy P says, sup, Ron? Nice to see you. Sup, Izzy? Nice to see you. We've been getting a lot of rain here in Michigan. It's raining, boy. Okay, so here's Dickel in this big old liter bottle, a liter, 1,000 milliliters. And I got it for the price of $7.99 at Discount Depot. And that is a true story. David Garley can back me up. And I brought one to a place we were hanging out at. And he was like, whoa. I said, yeah, $7.99, true story, liter. Now, a month later, it was $8.99 with that huge shelf like down to half. The next month, it was gone. See, when you see a price like that, you can assume that you will not see it again if you wait around. So $7.99 a liter, and the normal price is like $19.99. Well, let's see, a liter, maybe it's like 20 something 99. You wait, you miss out. Of course, you may not have the money, so that's understandable. We don't encourage people to be buying things on credit, of course. It's 82 and humid here in Michigan. Well, that's kind of like April 10th weather here. I've never tried these. I live in Maine, and I don't see it here. Well, you can only get what you can get. Now, Larceny, I think, has a locator tool, so you might be able to look it up. It's got a foil cap. But actually, it's not foil. It's plastic with some foil embedded in it. Real cork. That one is real twist off. Twist cap. Plastic twist cap. Oh. Now, Larceny has been really irritating in a way because you would think at 92 proof, no age statement, which means it's at least 4 years old, and good, got it even. God, I can't believe it. And Wheated bourbon, wheated meaning wheat is the second grain in the mash bill instead of the typical rye. Now, some people said on some video reviews I was watching, they were saying there's no rye in the mash bill. I said, what are they talking about? The company never said there's no rye. They just said it's not the second grain. They didn't say there was rye either. They just didn't say there was no rye. So you want to be careful before you say all these things. A nice pint hyphen beer review says, good evening, Ronald, watching from Ireland. Oh, well, good evening to you and I assume the Irish Republic. Would you support a law that makes statements mandatory for all products like these? No, I would not, because I don't support regulations like that typically. I'm more of a free enterprise guy, you know. Of course, we don't support fraud now, you understand. Okay, so this is Cascade Hollow, introduced at some point in the last 20 years as a 3-year aged sour mash Tennessee whiskey. Doesn't say straight whiskey, so it's probably aged in used barrels. Charcoal mellowed. Now, if you look on the website, and I put the link below, this red label, it says on the frequently asked questions, Cascade Hollow is not currently in production at this time. That's a redundant statement, right? Not currently in production at this time. Wait, if it's not currently in production, that would happen to be at this time. Anyway, you know, no big deal. So do they make it right now? No. However, they have the recipe, and that doesn't mean they wouldn't start making it again tomorrow. So you might see this hanging around in your local liquor store, okay? I've never seen it in my town. I don't really see that much George Dickel around here. Mathern's has it on the shelf. Probably collects more dust than cash for them. Walmart has Dickel. They got rid of the number 12 and the rye for $12.50 a bottle. And now they still have the number 8, I think, of the big jug bottle. That's not really a great sign that they... So I don't think it's really too popular around here. But, I mean, in some places of New Orleans, I think George Dickel is a big, you know, a big brand. So you could go into New Orleans and search around and find this. I'm pretty confident you'd probably stumble across it. Well, let's say I'm somewhat confident. But would it be worth the search? I mean, if you really want to go searching around for 80 proof, 3-year age, non-straight Tennessee whiskey, sour mash, go ahead. I mean, it's worth it. I mean, if you get it for $7.99. Old Forester 86 is the best value for the money, and Mellowcorn is the next best, says Bedbugs, Slumlords, and Filthy Bones. Well, that's a nice channel name, isn't it? I've had Old Forester. I don't have a bottle. Plan to buy it one day. I do have an Old Charter, and I have had Mellowcorn, and I liked it. Wild Turkey 101 is my go-to sipper. I enjoy your reviews on this, says Izzy P. Wild Turkey 101. Yes, I like it. I have a 101 blended whiskey that I did a review of this morning. 4 Queens. Is it as good as Wild Turkey? You know it is not as good as Wild Turkey at $11.99 a bottle, but it's pretty good for a blended whiskey. You know, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. I mean, not great, but good. Do some actually kind of in the excellent range. But anyway, all right. Do some companies sell a whiskey, quote unquote, that isn't aged but just has whiskey flavor added? Not to my knowledge. You're basically describing Canadian whiskey. No. Canadian whiskey has to be aged a minimum of 3 years. It's not unaged. 3 years. Now you might say, well, that's the straight whiskeys in the Canadian. I don't think the grain spirits have to be aged 3 years. Now, see, I'm not clear on that. If you look on the Black Velvet website, it tells you they use grain spirits, which is like corn, unaged, raw corn whiskey. But it has to be aged 3 years because what they're telling you is they take the grain spirits and they mix it with rye, high wine, and corn high wine, and they age them together, and that's Black Velvet's big claim to fame, that they age everything together, not separately in a barrel. So yeah, it's all aged 3 years. And then it would not be grain neutral spirits, because after being aged in a barrel, it's going to pick up some wood and char notes, so it wouldn't be neutral anymore. But it starts as that. So we want to be careful what we say. I'm an exterminator in Syracuse. My channel name sums up daily life. Okay, that makes sense. A Crown Royal right now, says Izzy, you're drinking that. Okay, I have that coming back. I said basically. Yeah, but it's basically not actually that. Because Canadian whiskey is all aged at least 3 years. You know, straight bourbon in the United States only has to be aged 2 years. Straight bourbon only has to be aged 2 years. That's the minimum requirement. Canadian whiskey has to be aged at least 3 years. And it's blended, but, well, I mean, most bourbon is blended. You say, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, think about it. They're using corn and rye whiskey and wheat whiskey and barley whiskey, malt whiskey, and they blend it together and they age it. So it is blended. It becomes straight whiskey by virtue of the fact that it is aged at least 2 years and never before used charred oak barrels. Okay, so that's what that means. Good afternoon, says Reverend 20 Peace. Good afternoon to you. B Aviation said there's probably some whiskey flavored moonshine though. Oh yeah, I have a whiskey flavored whiskey, which is, or I had one, which is probably whiskey flavored vodka, and it's called Yukon Jack. Been on the market since 1974. It said grain spirits with whiskey flavor. I said, what in the world is natural whiskey flavor? Couldn't figure that out. It was actually pretty good. And it was 100 proof, so to knock you down, boy. All right, time to go, time to go. They're both the same shade of gold, so that won't be an issue. One is slightly more, but like the slightest little bit, so it won't matter. They're both gold. They both have nice alcohol legs. Now, 92 proof straight bourbon whiskey, wheated, aged at least 4 years, versus 80 proof Tennessee sour mash whiskey, which is a type of bourbon. I don't care what the people in Tennessee say. Not a straight whiskey, so aged in used barrels for 3 years. You would think it's going to be such a mismatch that it's laughable. $26 for Larceny, and for a 750 of this, because I got 1,000. Now remember, I got a liter. But a 750 of this would probably run you about $17, assuming you ever find it. Probably $18. I'm probably cutting it too short. So let's say 18 versus 26. Is it really going to be worth $8 more? I don't know, but you would hope. Try Canadian Limited and tell me that's not vodka with vanilla extract. Canadian Limited is grain neutral spirits blended with, like I said, I've done reviews of it. Rye high wine, corn high wine, and flavors. Now remember, the flavoring in Canadian whiskey has to be, it's pretty strict. So you're thinking vanilla extract, but it's probably a white rum, one of the Sazerac white rums from the West Indies. And some of those can be very sugary, like the Caliber. So, but I did not read anything on the Canadian website government regulations about vanilla extract being used. They do allow flavoring. Up to 9.9% of the volume can be flavoring. But what kind of flavoring? Bourbon from America, that could give it the vanilla flavor. Any kind of wine, as long as it's aged in small wood, meaning a barrel, Just think of all the flavors you could get from any sort of wine. And you could also use brandy or rum. So, I mean, yeah. Is it a pure product? Well, it's pure in the sense that it's grains and wine flavoring and all, and they can add caramel color too. So, I mean, you know, Canadian, it's not vodka, but because, you know, vodka is distilled maybe 3, 4, 5 times. It's just distilled, and then they distill the distilled, and they distill that distilled, and they distill that distilled, and they distill that distilled. Then they take that highly distilled thing, and then they filter it once, twice, 3, 4 times. So it's much purer than just raw grain spirits. But I mean, essentially, it's coming from the same source, corn. Canadian whiskey is made to be smooth, right? But there's Canadian whiskey haters out there. I mean, they'll flip out. It's kind of like if you're on talking about music and you say the Grateful Dead, you just say, oh, I was watching a Grateful Dead movie. These people will flip out. They just like lose their minds, and they'll run across the room talking about, I hate the Grateful Dead. I hate the Grateful Dead. And you say, I just mentioned them. We're not talking about the Grateful Dead right now. Well, I just wanted to let you know I hate them. It's like, okay, well, okay, we get that. You hate them, but why did you feel the need to run across the room and tell everybody that you hated them? And that's just the Grateful Dead haters. They're just out there. They go berserk. And it's the same thing with Canadian whiskey. If you say, yeah, Crown Royal, here they come. I hate Canadian whiskey. I hate it. It's all vodka. Spread vodka. Spread vodka. And then you say, what are you talking about? You know, and they just go crazy. But we're not talking about the Dominion of Canada today. We're talking about the United States of America. You've heard of that country. All right. But boy, I'll tell you what, in the world of liquor, if you say Jack Daniels, they flip out. You get the Jack Daniels. I mean, I'm indifferent to Jack Daniels. I don't care about Jack Daniels. I don't wake up thinking about Jack Daniels and go to sleep thinking about it. But the Jack Daniels haters, that's all they think about, baby. They go to bed thinking about how much they hate Jack Daniels, and they wake up thinking about how much they hate it. And their first goal in life is to go around telling everybody how they hate it and how you should too. It's a sad existence. All right. I love all whiskey. Whiskey, Irish, American, Scottish, Australian, British, Luxembourgian, Australian, Austrian. I meant to say Austrian, Romanian, Cypriot, Lebanese. I understand. I'm the same way. I can basically see Canada right now, says B Aviation. Okay, now in the aroma here, and this Larceny has gotten me so mixed up because you'll smell it and you say, oh, well, that's got to be the other thing. But then you find out when you look at the label, oh no, it was the Larceny. How you feel, Played? Yeah, I felt pretty played. Larceny has, when I did a solo review, it was fine. It tasted good. I liked it. I gave it a high score. I gave it an excellent score. My friend David turned on it. He hated it. But he only paid $13 on a closeout price, and he gave me about $13 for a $26 bottle. Nice deal, huh? So, but Larceny hasn't performed that well in taste challenges. Like there's no pattern to it. Like it'll win and then it'll lose, then it'll win, then it'll lose, then it'll tie, then it'll tie, then it'll tie, then it'll win, then it'll lose, then it'll lose, then it'll lose, then it'll win, then it'll win. See what I'm saying? Like there's no consistency. And then I can get it right, then I can't get it right, then I can tell it apart, then I can't tell it apart, then I can tell it apart, then I can't tell it apart, then I can't, then I can't, then I can, then I can't. So you say, well, that's very irritating for you to keep talking like that. I know, and it's very irritating to keep doing the taste challenges and getting them right and wrong in that pattern. So I cannot get a handle on Larceny. You think it's weeded, so it's going to stand out, but it hasn't. It hasn't. It has not. You say, well, that's an indictment of you. You don't know whiskey, and so you can't figure it out. Strong possibility. However, if you watch the Larceny video reviews, and I'm still trying to because there's dozens. It's taken me over a week. I'm still trying to plod through it. They say similar things. And I never watched these before I did the review, so it sounds like the batches are not consistent. Small batch. Coming from a company like Heaven Hill, you would think the batches would be totally consistent, right? Like totally perfected. But I think it's more just that it's not a recipe that stands out. Because you would think Heaven Hill would just have it nailed, you know. Heaven Hill, Sazerac, Diageo, Pernod Ricard, and all of them. You just think they got, Campari, the Italian company, Suntory, Beam Suntory. They would always do it to perfection. I mean, I could be wrong. I might have overestimated. I might be giving overestimated credit to mass production companies, but I don't think I am. Does it have a bite? Not really. I don't think. What's the Wednesday topic this week, Ron? Says Ronnie S., who has a wrench. He can moderate these comments. Hold on a second. Oh, damn you. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, this is not really standing out either. So on the aroma, it's kind of similar. It's any ready-to-drink canned or bottled cocktail. Beer-based, vodka-based, but most of the ones you get in America, Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, whatever, Georgia, they're going to be beer-based. I got the original Club Tales, Watermelon Margarita. John and Illy's got another one of their margarita-style canned pre-mix. He's got two of them. I hope he doesn't drink two in one night. Anything you can find, Johnny Bootlegger. If it's pre-mixed, trying to mimic a cocktail, then you got it, man. All right. Taste time. See the Cascade Hollow. It's got this strong. Oh, you know what? I did get confused. I just realized I didn't have to do this taste challenge today because I've already banked one for the upcoming date. me, mine. Because what happened was I did a solo review of Four Queens 101. Well, that's all right, because that'll actually help me out later in the week. So let me just mark this down. So got this done for another date. Good. Okay, well, that's fine. That works out. As long as I keep it tracked. And you say, because you don't want to drink too much. But yeah, exactly. And I want to keep it tracked. 365 days is 365. I don't want to do 366. I don't know why I'm so absent-minded, but I am. I can name every British monarch since Henry VII. I can't remember where I drank today. Oh, well. Oh, well, it'll be all right. We hope. There's some kind of little twang to it. I'm thinking it's corn, but there's something else. It's like sherry. I said this earlier in the week. Could have been yesterday. Well, that's earlier. Last week. Late into last week. Yeah, it's like some kind of, I think, like cocktail sherry. And you say, you crazy. They don't add sherry to that stuff. I know they don't. They can't. Well, maybe they can if it's not straight Tennessee whiskey, but I don't think they can. It's not sherry. It's just something confusing. Just miss me a Schlitz. Who was the British monarch right after Henry VII? Henry VII, the House of Tudor. That was Henry VIII, his son, Henry VIII, who started all the trouble. That's why Northern Ireland has trouble today, because of him. All right, mainly. Now this one seems higher proof. There's like more bite, more alcohol strength, more. Just more strongness. I don't know how you say that. Strength. That's not the word. Strongness, strength. Now, who was the British monarch right before Henry VII? Now you see, I said I could name all the ones after him. I think it was Richard III, and then it was, remember, because there was a civil war. See, that's where it gets, because there was a civil war, and then they had these children that went missing, and they found their dead bodies in a castle. And that was the crumbling of the Plantagenet royal dynasty. He probably murdered the children. He was crazy, apparently crazy. He wanted to be the king, but he had to get rid of them because they were the heirs. So I don't know, but like I said, I don't know. It was Edward V and Richard III, but I know. I said I knew all the one from Henry VII to today. I didn't say I knew all the ones before. It was Richard III, the Lionheart. I think so. Richard the Lionheart. He's the one that got killed in the Crusades. First Crusade. Wasn't it the First Crusade? All right. I like this one a lot, and I think it's the Cascade. It almost has like a grape. You say grape, you really have gone mad. It's not like grape, but it's like yeah, it's like a some kind of caramel candy twangy thing. It's interesting. It's an interesting product. I'm having a Boulevard Dark Truth Imperial Stout, real decent, says David. That sounds good. That's going to cost you some moolah. Yeah, this has got to be the Larceny because it's higher proof. Now, it's smoother by virtue of the wheatedness, I think. But it tastes higher proof now. But once again, the Larceny is confounding in the sense that it is not really separating itself from the others. By golly, it's the strangest thing. Now, would I pay? Okay, let's say I went to a store and this is all theoretical because I'm never going to buy anything again because I got like 1,000,001 new brands to try. So there's not going to be any repurchases. I mean, let's look at that honestly. But you say, well, you repurchase Johnny Walker Red Label. Well, I mean, yeah, something like Johnny Walker Red Label because that's such a standard. That's a benchmark product. I mean, Johnny Walker Red Label is the benchmark for blended Scotch whiskey. So you're going to use that as a comparison. And it's like Crown Royal. Well, yeah, I bought a handle of Crown Royal because it's the benchmark, the prototype. Now, whether you think it's good or bad, that's fine. We can argue about that all day. But when you say Canadian whiskey, everybody's going to say Crown Royal. You say Scotch, blended Scotch, they're going to say Johnny Walker Red. You say a Tennessee whiskey, Jack Daniels, American bourbon, Jim Beam. So there's certain quintessential products that you want to use as a baseline. But no, I'm not going to buy these again. But let's just say theoretically, that's the whole point I was trying to make. Hypothetically, if I saw Larceny for 26 and I saw Cascade Hollow for $8 less, 18, would I buy the Larceny? No, I just bought a Cascade Hollow. All right. I would buy the Dickel over the Larceny. So I guess you could say Dickel wins, right? Yeah, it wins because I can't say it tastes better, but it sure doesn't taste worse. How much is a handle? You mean how much volume is a handle, or what does it cost? I assume you mean what's the volume, fluid ounces. 1,750 milliliters, as opposed to a regular size bottle of whiskey, which is only 750 milliliters. It's actually basically what we have here. A handle is this plus this. 1,000 plus 750. That's a handle. These two together is a handle. You say, why do they call it a handle? That's a strange name. Because usually on the back it has a handle on it. And if it's a plastic bottle, it'll be indented on the back so you can grab it. Because it's so heavy, you know, you got to have a good grip on it. So they call it a handle. The glass ones, like the Crown Royal and the Johnny Walker Red, will have a literal handle. You can grab it. And then the cheaper ones will have a plastic indentation. All right. Yeah, so that's the answer there. That's always your best value. But then you're stuck with 1,750 milliliters. But you can get it much cheaper per ounce. Much cheaper per ounce. And that's what people buy when they're like having a parade party, or they're having a wedding reception, or a first communion. You know, they're going to buy a bunch of it and let the people just guzzle and go crazy because they don't want to, you know, they want to get the most for per ounce. You know, the best value. I just call it a half gallon. It's close to a half gallon. It's not quite exactly a half gallon, but that's what some people do call it that. But most people, I've noticed these days, call it a handle. I'm going to go get a handle of gin, Mims. You know, Mims is like a typical cheap gin that's made for mixing. It's not made to sit there and sip. But I probably didn't have to tell you that. My daughter used to buy that stuff in college. She said, well, when she was over 21, I'm sure, she says, but actually, she says it was actually all right. She never said anything bad about Mims. She's moved up to higher grades, but she actually liked Mims. She said it was a very serviceable product, actually. Before you want to attack Mims gin. I thought it was okay myself. I wouldn't go out and buy it. I bought it for the review. It was nice. Never tried Miles gin. I don't like gin. Good reason why I don't do the videos. Do I hate it? I don't hate it. Don't like it. Don't ever care to have it again. Same for vodka. This has got to be the Cascade Hollow. How many ounces in a half gallon? I don't know. A 750 is 25.4 ounces, so you could figure that out. We're in shorts, so I got my, you know, in the summer we wear shorts. I wear long pants from around November to March. Lewis Rice says, watching your beer videos live from Milwaukee, the Bucks are going all the way. Well, we hope. Well, you hope. Drinking Coors Banquet right now. Please do more metal album reviews. I used to do a lot of music videos, but they kept getting muted because of copyright. I never got a strike. They never said this violates anything. They just said, well, the company muted it. And I was thinking the company's stupid because I'm doing a video bragging on the music. Seems to me that the company would want you to make the video, not mute it. But I even checked with the people. I said, well, if I make a video review and I play the music, would it be all right? And they were like, sure, as long as you don't monetize it. I was like, I ain't trying to make money off of it. Oh, yeah, fine. Did Fleetwood Mac? Psh, every Fleetwood Mac thing I did got muted. But that's them. They're so greedy. But it was a shame because all their albums were brilliant. You know, I was like, I could do these videos. Their albums are so great. You know, like I'm talking about, you know, the 1975, 77, 82. Oh, I'm sorry, 79, 82, and 87 albums. I didn't say I didn't say the people in the band were brilliant. They were kind of stupid in a way because they destroyed all their success. But yeah, I got tired of doing videos that kept getting muted. So I was like, I give up. I give up. All right. Yeah, do them without playing the music. Well, that's no fun. Ronnie says maybe we should maybe do a gin topic on an upcoming Wednesday. Another one I don't have much experience with. I would be willing to do gin, but I wouldn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'd be willing to do it, but I don't want to do it. Izzy says, why are you bothering Ron with simple things you could look up yourself? Do them without playing music. I don't want to talk about music if I can't play the music. Fair point, Izzy. I thought he might know. Did your house get impacted by the Hurricane Katrina? A little bit. Got a little damaged. Yeah. Got a little bit damaged, but I mean, it was minor. Cost of well, I think it was like less than $10,000 to get it fixed. And all these houses in New Orleans, the whole house was destroyed. You know, you're talking about $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 house destroyed. You know, so I mean, my damage was nothing. You know, what is the best Judas Priest album, not counting Unleashed in the East? I guess it's Stained Class. Is that why you quit doing the history videos? It says Goblin Killer H. No, those never got muted. I have many more I could do. I just can't think of anything to do. Monka says, were you staying in the house during the hurricane? I was at my grandma's house. Also, was your town impacted by the hurricane, or are you not too close to the water? It wasn't really impacted too much. Like where grocery stores closed and stuff. Things closed for a day or so. About 2 days. Let's see. Katrina hit on Monday, so around Wednesday things started opening back. Then by Thursday, all the electricity was back on, so everything was back in, like, rolling along by Thursday. Now remember, New Orleans, the west bank of the river, never lost electricity even during the storm. Didn't even lose electricity, and it had no flooding whatsoever. You got to remember, New Orleans is on both sides of the river. The river runs through the city. So if you'd have been in Algiers, which is the name of the west bank of the city, which is a huge area, by lunchtime after the storm, people were going to the restaurant eating, going out to eat, going to ride bikes, cleaning up, you know, branches that fell down and all. Air conditioner running strong, watching TV, like, you know, quiet. Now the East Bank, it was like a dystopian breakdown of Western civilization. You understand? So that's amazing how one side of the river was totally normal. The other side was absolutely out of hand. Where does Milwaukee rank for historical beer cities? I would say at number 1, probably. Do you think Lincoln ended slavery, or is slavery going to stop anyways? Regardless. Well, it was going to stop regardless, but Lincoln, I don't want to talk about Lincoln right now. I don't want to talk about Lincoln or Hitler or any other bad guys. I remember Katrina hitting South Florida on its way to New Orleans. That's right, Homestead, Florida. Oh, I was thinking of Andrew. I'm sorry. The eye passed over us, if I recall, was at work at the time. Yeah, and then it blew up. When it got into the Gulf, it blew up and became very strong. Can you talk about Louisiana public schools? I've heard they don't exist, or if they do, they are trash. But why, when their colleges are so good? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. They have a lot of public schools that are great. I went to public school, and then my daughter went to the same public high school, and she didn't pay tuition for 8 straight years based on her grades and scores. She went to University of New Orleans and University of Alabama and did not pay tuition. She took all honors classes. It couldn't have been too bad. The question is Louisiana ready for the next hurricane? I don't know. I don't know. Why do you put Lincoln in the same category as Hitler? Oh, I don't. I don't. I just said I didn't want to talk about Lincoln, Hitler, or any other bad guys. Did they know that Hurricane Katrina was going to be so bad? Yeah, they said this is the real deal. They came on TV. The mayor came on TV and he said, this is the real deal. This is no joke. And I thought to myself, I don't know. It seems kind of bad, you know. But I was thinking it's going to be all right, but it was bad, you know. He doesn't. Isn't the West under sea level? No, the East Bank is under sea level, and only parts of the East Bank. A good amount of it. Let's talk about liquor. We're getting sidetracked here, says Izzy. I agree, right? Talking about hurricanes, presidents. Well, anyway, that's got to be the Larceny, because Ride the Lightning or Master of Hot Puppets. Yeah, Ride the Lightning obviously is the better album. Have you lived in Louisiana your whole life? Yes. Plus, we want to know about you, the reviewer. Who cares about liquor? Me, the reviewer, is irrelevant. It's the liquor that matters. So if you're worried about me, forget it. The liquor is what matters. I'm irrelevant. It's the product. That's the focus. The product is what matters. The reviewer is small potatoes. I'm going to say this is Larceny because it's stronger in the feeling, the body, and the flavor. It is. Haha. All right. Well, that wasn't very difficult. It was a little difficult. And the aroma, it was difficult. So aroma, yeah, it's kind of a challenge. But once you started tasting it, nah, it wasn't really challenging. Now, is Larceny better? I don't know about better. It's different. I don't know about better. Because Cascade Hollow has a lot of nice little qualities. So if you find Cascade Hollow, which is not being produced at this time, like they say on the website, they don't say it's not going to be produced. They're saying it's not being produced at this time. Yeah, I'd buy it. I mean, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. I wouldn't go running around talking about, oh, it's the greatest thing. I mean, it's not the greatest thing, but it's nice. It's nice. Very well made. It's good. I have a whole lot of it left. Look how much I have left. Ooh, I got a lot left. Larceny. Well, Larceny is a little bit more confusing. It is good, and I even scored it excellent, and I'll still stand by that score. But the thing that bugs me about Larceny is that it didn't stand out like I thought it was going to stand out in all these taste challenges. I thought it was just going to run away with it. I don't mean that it would be better. I don't mean that. I just mean I thought it was going to run away with the differentiation. It didn't. Did not happen. Did today, but this afternoon, but didn't happen overall. Now, do I have more things to do with Larceny? I think I do. Let's see here. Yeah, Bellows, of all things. I'm going to close out with Bellows of Luxco, 80 proof, 4-year aged, straight bourbon whiskey. Now, you might be thinking, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. There is no way on earth Bellows, of all things, is going to beat Larceny, this 92 proof wheated bourbon. Bellows, this 80 proof straight bourbon whiskey, aged 4 years. Give me a break. Bottled in St. Louis, Missouri by Luxco and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get that. Kentucky straight bourbon, though. But, yeah, but I mean, I'm not really that confident because I don't see Larceny standing out. Now, Bellows is an older company than Heaven Hill. It's been around since 1830. Bellows got bought out by Luxco, but I mean, what's my prediction? Well, I mean, I think Bellows is going to lose, and I think Larceny is going to stand out and be differentiated. But I'm not totally confident. I'm, fairly confident. Would I buy Bellows straight bourbon again? Yes, I would, especially considering I got 1,000 milliliters for $7.99. Oh wait. Oh, that was the day John and Ile was with us, and we got, and the guy says, "What you looking at, boss?" And they had a few bottles, not many. I said, "Well, how much is this stuff?" Oh, he said it's six. I think he said $6.99. $6.99. I said, "Well, I've had it before." I remember. I said, "I've had this before." And then I looked. I said, "Woof! This is not the blended whiskey. This is straight bourbon. Straight bourbon." I said, "For $6.99." Oh well, I bought that in a hot second. $6.99 for straight bourbon, 1,000 milliliters. Well, there's no way I was passing it up. Has it lived up to expectations? Well, it's certainly exceeded expectations. It's actually not a bad. It's actually a pretty good product. So once that's over with, then we're going to go into Four Queens blended bourbon, blended blended whiskey, because blended bourbon is a specific category. You would hope that 101 proof blended whiskey would beat everybody else, but at this point, I don't have too much confidence. All right, let's look at the comments and we out of here. I'm going to watch the Yankees and the what am I saying? The the Cubs and the Dodgers already on. I'm missing it. I'm missing the game. Look at all these comments. You may have a biased opinion that we are trying to see if it's present in your reviews. Yeah, I don't want to have a biased opinion. I want to be totally unbiased, which is why I do blind taste tests. So even if I was biased, it wouldn't matter because it's blind. I don't know which is which. So that's the whole luxury of doing a blind taste test. You don't know which is which. So even if you are biased, it won't matter because you don't know. Unless you're a cheater, which in that sense you would be a psychopath, so it wouldn't matter. And nobody should watch your channel. Was Lincoln a bad guy? I mean, he was a bad guy if you look at a person a warmonger who starts a war against other states and who has no regard for the lives of soldiers or civilians. But yeah, I mean, he was a bad guy in that sense, that he was a monstrous warmonger, not to mention a grossly incompetent commander-in-chief. But otherwise, he did have a nice little goatee beard, after the little girl wrote him the letter saying, "You're ugly, you should grow a beard." Anything made by Heaven Hill must be bad. No. I want to try it. I will look for it here in Maine. Okay. All liquor is larceny. I'm a bottom shelf guy. Okay. All right, Michael. Simon. Are most whiskeys in high proof like 80 or 92 or lower? No, most are 80 proof, 40% alcohol. We have a limited selection of southern bourbons here in Maine. Well, I can understand that. We don't get many New England whiskeys down here, but we did get that beautiful, I thought, beautiful corn whiskey aged in cherry barrels. But my friend David would say, "I don't like it. It tastes like cherry wood." I said, "What is your major malfunction? That stuff's good, but he won't drink it either." I was like, "Why don't you drink it?" I'm like, "Why are you just like," I couldn't bear it. I would never be able to bear sitting on a bottle of whiskey for years. Every time I look, I see it. It drive me crazy. What is the cheapest bottom of the barrel whiskey and vodka you can buy? Goblin Killer HD. It's a good question. I can get them very cheap. I can probably get bourbon or scotch for $3 a bottle, and I can get vodka probably for $3 a bottle. I'm talking about a regular size bottle. Wouldn't be able to get it easily, but I can get it. 1,000 milliliters equals a liter, says Dan Page. I understand, but that seems to escape some people. But you know, some viewers and just people in general are innumerate. You know what I mean? Innumerate. They don't understand math. Do you have to pour it to cling blind? Do you have to pour it blind? You don't have to pour it blind because you got tags at the bottom. See, I have tags. See, like letter L. So I know that's Larceny. So when I poured it in the L glass. But I mixed them up so well. See, I kept mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing. And then when I did the reveal, then I knew it was Larceny. But I didn't know what it was during the taste challenge. That's the blind part. Lincoln was the first neoconservative. Well, not really, but we don't know that because we don't know if he would have been one of these people saying we got to go around the world and establish democracy around the world and all that. So we can't say that. We can say he probably would have been, but we don't know that. We can't. Really the neoconservatives started in the 1950s. We know that, but the Trotskyites who came from Russia and Eastern Europe and infiltrated things like the what was William Buckley's magazine called? The you know that thing. All right, anyway, and all of that. All right, so thanks for watching this video production. And we'll be back soon, probably Tuesday morning for another Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. National Review, that's the magazine, National Review. I knew I'd think of it.